As a result of doing the Acceleration and Stabilization program, we were able to take a new look at our employees and myself, even all of our directors, and we moved people around in our organization so that they were doing the things that they were best suited to do. And as a result of that, things just got a lot easier in the company. Some examples of that are with the program, we got complete job descriptions, every detail. It included how to actually take a new employee. For us, we hired a new marketing and referral development person. And so I now had all the tools to train that person on what's his product, what was expected of him, and more than just written materials, I had training materials that I could train this new person with. In our company, over the last few years, we had expanded quite a bit, and we were still operating with an older model of how our company was set up. This program helped us set the company up in a more efficient manner so that it was easier for the directors to manage and easier for the directors to look at what it was that people were doing, both in our main clinic and also in the other satellite clinics. I feel like the Acceleration and Stabilization program was exactly what we needed at the right time. Our company was operating with an organizational setup that we had used when we were one practice, but now we had 3 practices. In fact, we had 3 different locations for quite a few years. When we did this program, we were able to take like a new look at who was doing what and was it really set up in the most efficient manner. So when we did this program, we made a lot of changes in who reported to who and where certain types of, for example, where the front desk was in our organizational chart. And these were actually quite big changes for our company. But as a result, it got much, much easier for me as the Chief Executive Officer to get a handle on what was everybody doing and how did that information get from the people that were, one-to-one, maybe working with the patient or working with the therapist, or how the marketing person was also interacting with the rest of the staff. We retitled some of the positions to completely encompass what that person was doing. For example, we now have a Chief Operating Officer who's in charge of all the day-to-day operations and the delivery. And one of the big things that we got out of the program were fully written and complete job descriptions. And they included everything from soup to nuts, what's expected of that person, how do you measure their statistics, how do you train that person, check sheets and actual training materials, drills and role playing. Some of the other really huge things that we got, for example, with regards to referral development and marketing, were how do you track your physicians? How do you keep track of your physicians? Especially, we're in New York, so we have hundreds, actually I think like 1,800 physicians. So, it's a lot of physicians with a core group of probably 250 that send us the bulk of our patients. But how do you track all of that? And how do you summate, how those people are coming into your clinic? How do you know where to focus your attention and, what are your successful actions? And so they had systems in place to pull the data together. And the neat thing is it's all linked. So, you can look in one document and information flows from that document to another document. So as an owner, it got so much easier for me to actually look at what was going on in the clinic and then make decisions based on that, based on actual true data, not just on what people thought or people felt, but actually what was really happening. And I think for my staff, what they appreciated was everything just got much easier and much clearer so that people knew what was expected of them And it was easier for them to implement certain things. And they also had a lot of programs for how to handle certain problems that you might be having in the company. There's tons of attention in the program on marketing and bringing in new business. And there's just every type of situation that you might encounter it seems like there just are so many different ways that are addressed with, you're like, oh my gosh, somebody else has encountered that problem, and here's a solution to that problem. So for us, we wanted to be able to take our company now that was bigger than when we had last looked at our company and take it to that next new level. And I felt like this program really helped us to be able to accelerate our expansion without having to, without having to like go through the grind. We actually had a lot of fun, and I felt like everybody that participated in the program came out going, yes, that is exactly what I needed, and I'm so happy that we made the change. That was the neatest thing that came out of it, is just that satisfaction. There are a ton of benefits that we received from doing the Acceleration and Stabilization program. One of them was how you evaluate your staff's performance. And I feel like this program really gave us an objective means that we could use on every single employee. And the program has templates for every type of employee that you have in your clinic. And for the first time, I felt like we really had a really objective way where we could assess their performance on an annual basis. Another benefit that we received from the program was in how we train our employees. So right after I did the program, I hired a new PR and marketing, actually it wasn't PR and marketing, I hired a marketing and referral development person. And I said, well, I may as well use my new materials and see how they work. So I took all the materials, which I think they have about, it's probably 100 pages or more of materials. And the neat thing is, it's all custom, like the materials. So I used those materials. I opened the book and I said, okay, let's go. I'm going to train this person with all these new materials. And it went really smooth. I was able to teach him what it was that I expected of him, how he contributed it to the company, what I wanted him to do. I had drills and I had exercises and I had all sorts of things based on real information, and it was all written down. All of us, I think that, we had a lot of things written down. We had, exercises and job descriptions, but they weren't perfect. So this for us, it like filled in the gaps. And, I didn't have to take the time to actually do the write-ups. So that was a really cool thing. One of the other benefits that I found was when I went to the training, I took the 3 executives that are my key executives in the company. And it wasn't like they just gave me materials and said, okay, here's all your job descriptions, here's this. When we were there, they had already gathered like all of our statistics and how we were looking at things, and they had all the job descriptions and they had all of our training materials. And what they did was, while we were there, so we didn't have to come home and do it, they integrated our materials into these materials. Like we would read through my message to each particular position. And we would have examples, a template example. Here's an example. Now make it your own. And honestly, we went through page by page and we integrated all of our materials into this, so that what I got from the Acceleration and Stabilization program was very different than the other couple of centers that were also there, because our needs were different. And the way our clinics are set up are different. How you do physical therapy and what your population is different. Maybe your demographics are different in terms of just your physician referral sources or your publics and stuff like that. So the neat thing is we did it while we were there. Because I don't, for me, I'm not the type of person that's really good with homework. I don't, I would just sit there as like something I'd probably just keep procrastinating, like, oh, I gotta get that done, I gotta get that done, I gotta get that done. But because I did it there, like when I left, I had my whole organization all mapped out. I had the words tweaked, and I worked with, the facilitators and the trainers to get things right so that I left going, I'm happy with this. I can do that. And then I went back home and I implemented, we had like a checklist of things that we needed to implement. So that was really good for us. I think that what Survival Strategies provides that other companies don't is the commitment to see that you get what you thought you signed up for. I really don't know very many other companies that will commit to the same level that Survival Strategies commits to. Like, they won't let you not get far beyond what you probably signed up for in the first place. And it's not a cookie cutter thing. I feel that any practice that wants to accelerate their expansion would benefit from this program. I mean, I think I haven't ever really talked to any physical therapist that doesn't want to expand, or any therapist that is like, I just want to stay where I am. So I feel like anybody that wants to take a look at where they are and expand their practice or improve how they're doing the things that they're doing, so that, I think that a lot of practices do well on certain things when they're putting their attention on it, but then maybe when they're not putting on their attention, they fall out. Actually, that's something that I hear a lot of practices talk about is, I got the program in and then it slipped out. This program is unique in that it has a lot of the missing ingredients that fills in the gaps, so that when you put in a program, I think that's why they use the word stabilization, it stabilizes the program. And it also gives you a system for when you hire new staff to quickly bring them up to speed so that they're at the same place that the other staff were. Because I think that in the past, we've done programs, and the first staff that are trained, especially if they're trained directly by Survival Strategies, they're great. But the question is, do you really have everything that you need to train successive staff, or the next office, or the third office, or the fourth office? So I feel like anyone that wants to accelerate their growth, stabilize their growth, I think they would really benefit from doing this.